Hey guys, how's it going? MasterBucks here, and welcome to another episode and another season of the Wolverhampton Wanderers career mode. Of course, in the previous season, we finished third in the Premier League incredibly. We went on an amazing run to end our season, and an insane undefeated streak that lasted like 15, 16, 17 games or something insane like that, and it propelled us all the way up into the top four. This now means we are going to be playing in the Champions League in just our second season of the Ultimate Career Mode, and of course, we made some pretty big name signings as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my starting 11. You will see a fair few names in there. We brought a couple of pre-contract signings, and we also got a fair few young players that have started to come up the system as well. But let's go through it all right now. In goal, we have Rui Patricio still. At the beginning, I had my concerns, but he has proven to be a sensational goalkeeper for us. We brought back Johnny because we only had him on a loan, so we had to make sure that we retained him because he was excellent for me. Bolly and Vezo are still my centre-back partnerships. Ruben Aguilar is still my right-back as well. In the midfield, you will notice a little bit of a change. We've got Ruben Neves playing at centre defensive midfield, a new centre midfielder in Leandro Paredes, and on the right-hand side, we have João Moutinho, in my opinion, the player of the season for us last season. And our front three, we have Diogo Jota on the left, Adama on the right, so that has stayed the same. But up top is the 85 rated, unbelievably, Anthony Martial. When we signed him on a pre-contract, he was only like 83 overall, but when we got him this season, he went all the way up to 85. So I almost feel like I don't want to waste him out on the left because my wingers still get plenty of action, but I feel like with the rating that he is and the fact that he can be a striker for us, I want to actually give him a shot as our main striker, see how he goes. If he starts banging them in, then he can stay there. If not, maybe we will move him out to the left and rotate the team a bit. But we'll take a look at my substitutes really quickly as well. Charpentier becomes the first Youth Academy player I have been able to sign that is going to make it at least as far as the substitutes. So he will become my main backup goalkeeper. I'm also training him up so that way he'll get to about a 70, and if we really need him, we can put him into the starting 11 for cup games and stuff like that. Walker Peters is my backup fullback, both right and left-hand side. Dale Fry becomes my backup centre-back. I'm training him. Hopefully we'll get him to a good rating. Fernando, I was thinking about starting in the starting 11, but Moutinho would have to have been the player that I would have displaced him for, and I just can't get rid of João Moutinho with how amazing he was for us last season. He will eventually start to drop off with him being like 32, 33, quite old, so Fernando will probably get the start very soon. Amati is another player that will maybe find his way into the starting 11 soon as well. We brought back Raul Jimenez because he was tremendous for us last season. He was tied with Jota, and I think it was also Moutinho with the most goals scored for us in the Premier League, and he was our leading goal scorer in all competitions. And Ivan Cavaleiro, who can play at both right wing, left wing, and even striker, is my other backup winger. If you look at the rest of my reserves as well, you'll notice I have got so many players, and I just have too many. I actually need to still sell a couple of Deadwood older players that aren't really getting anywhere, loan a few away, and I tell you what, because so many of those players are scouted players from last season, I am increasing my criteria for whether or not I bring a player into my youth academy from now on. They need to be absolute top tier because right now we have a really good core bunch of young players with good potentials for the future. We are like absolutely set. I'm telling you what, we have got such a good group of young players backing us up in a nice starting 11 that I think we are hopefully going to be in a decent position to at least try to, I don't know, get at least a somewhat similar position in the Premier League this season, try to keep our champion, and to at least just compete in the Champions League. But I might make one signing, and probably only one at the moment, for my starting 11 in this transfer window. And as you can see from my global transfer network, I've got players in all, or scouts in all the top 5 leagues across Europe. We've got Thiago Abreu, who's on his way to Spain. But I might set an instruction really quick. Right now I've got players, I'm looking for players in the last year of their contract that are promising, are either about the first team quality or just flat out world class. I'm going to add a new one in really quickly. I am going to look for a centre-back that is at least first team quality, maybe not world class, but first team quality, because I want to get in a new 80 plus rated centre-back, and I'd prefer that they not be super old. Maybe a 28 will put the cap on, and I don't care about contract lengths. I just want to get a new centre-back, and really, or at least a high quality 80 something rated centre back. And I am more than happy to let the global transfer network do its thing and to try to find me a decent centre-back from one of those 5 leagues. You know, we don't normally, or I don't personally normally use the global transfer network that much for signing players unless they're in the last year of their contract. But I mean, let's see what they can do for me. Let's see who they can find. I do have other centre-back options like Mukile, who was one that I was really looking at picking up earlier on. Jemison in the last year of his contract, so I might actually maybe look to get him on a preseason contract. Maybe, I don't know. Dendoncker was a bloke I kind of wanted to bring back last season, but didn't really have the funds for. I might maybe want to bring him back because he was good for us, although I was playing him more at centre defensive mid than centre back. Foyth, another one, and Mawson, another one with 5-star weak foot, decent ball control and dribbling for a centre back as well, and he's also got a real face and a high potential, and English. So I don't know. There are other centre back options for me to go to if the global transfer network doesn't find me anybody. But also quickly looking at the rest of my shortlist, got a few CDMs in there if I need one. Pulisic has come to my attention as a real decent pickup maybe as well. Costa, Ajaria as well. Other ones, Maitland-Niles, Kessié. Delaney is a centre mid and a centre defensive mid that I might like just because of the fact he is so well-rounded in absolutely all of his stats. In Kunku, you've got Loftus-Cheek, Puig, Sambia, and a bunch of other players in a bunch of other different positions. A lot of younger players as well that I really don't mind maybe picking up. You don't see a lot of star 80, mid-80 rated players there, do you? I'm really focusing on the younger players in this career mode, like, you know, the Wolverhampton Wanderers do. That is their approach. The only players that I have signed that were above 80 overall in the entire career mode were Paredes and Anthony Martial. So I feel like I've kept real, huge, massive, big-name signings to a relative minimum. We've just been bringing in a lot of nice young players and training them up and letting their overalls progress, and then they get up to a decent rating. If you look at the budget that we have as well, it's unbelievable because obviously I assume a lot of that would be down to the fact that we made Champions League this season, so that is probably why we've gotten such a kick up the arse in terms of the budget, but it's still an insane amount, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to spend all that. I've got a lot of decent signings potentially that I'm looking at getting, but with that sort of money, I really don't know. Do I buy it all? Do I snap up a bunch of, again, younger players? I've got so many players in my squad already. Do I really need more younger players, or do I just go for the star talent now that we're in the Champions League? Who knows? But anyway, I'll begin advancing forward. We just have the international friendly tournament, the European International Cup to get through. I'll just sim through all of that, and then of course if we reach the final, then maybe I'll play it. But that is really it. Aside from that, I've transfer listed and transfer loaned a bunch of players, loan listed a bunch of other players, and you can see here why we've gotten such a massive increase. A $90 million increase to our budget for finishing in the Champions League and off the performance last season. So that's what's got it up to such an insane amount. We've also got our first loan offer come through. I was having so many issues actually trying to loan players away last season. I'm sure it's going to continue this season, but I'm still going to have to accept every offer and hope to God that it just goes through. As a matter of fact, whenever there's a loan offer that comes in for anyone, I'm not even going to talk about it. The only time I'm going to talk about a loan offer actually, or in any regard, is if I've accepted a loan offer and it's actually gone through. If the miracle has happened, then I will let you know. Because what happens all the time? Loan move rejected, every fucking time. A loan offer for Kyle Walker-Peters when I don't even have him listed, and it's Milan. That's an interesting one. But one player I am looking to sell, Leo Bonatini. After bringing back Raul Jimenez from his loan offer and, of course, signing Timmy Weah and Martial, we really are set at that striker position. So I'm just willing to accept that. And even though I could maybe squeeze an extra mil or two out of Wolfsburg, we'll just let them have him. We have reached the first game of the European International Cup. It's against Roma again because I always want to make sure I start a season fresh with my main players healthy. I have got my substitutes in there. Thankfully, it's worked out okay though because Rodrigo Mir, who was away on loan, scored. Martial was on the bench and came on. He was able to get a goal as well. Transfer offer from Napoli for João Moutinho. Look, he's 32 years of age. I would have moved him on if he wasn't as amazing for us last season. So I really cannot accept anything for João Moutinho. Even if it means we're missing out on 10, 15 million, I'm not going to do it. But I tell you what, I'll accept from an English stat, don't know if I said that right, but Roman Saiss is nearly 30, isn't as integral to the team, and we do have other centre midfielders and centre backs stepping up and CDM, so we can accept that offer. These are also, by the way, the new drills that I'm rocking with to start the season. As you can see, Charpentier, the goalkeeper, I'm trying to train up his stats and to get him to about a 70 if he's going to be my backup goalkeeper. He needs to be a little higher than 64, but his potential is way up into the high 80s, if not the 90s, so that's why I've got him in there. Vinagre is getting drills. Dale Fry's getting drills, my backup centre back. Ampadu is also getting drills, and so is Yassine Adli. So I'm hoping to get all these guys up to about mid-70s and then swap them up for other younger players in similar positions to get them up to about the mid-70s as well. Now for the next game in the European International Cup. This one's away, even though they're all played in the same region. It's us. Yeah, it's us. We're the away side in a sim game. Even if regionally it's all the same, it doesn't matter. 4-1, a pumping. Berisha scored a hat-trick. Oh my God, and it's a fucking miracle. Morgan Gibbs-White, who is a player that's actually listed for Wolverhampton at the start of the career mode, I've loaned away to Cardiff City. When we get him back next season, he should hopefully be about 70 odd something. He maybe will be a younger player that's actually at Wolverhampton, that it was a pretty low overall, but might work his way into starting 11 contention. We've also got Bonatini being sold as well for about 11.8 mil, but we get 10 mil back, which is great, and a transfer offer for another one of our players as well. That's a younger youth academy player that we picked up that doesn't have super high potential, and we're just looking to move on. Roman Saiss has sold again, even though transfer talks broke down with one of the clubs that wanted him. It's all good. We've ended up selling him on, and a transfer offer for Rui Patricio. I'm not looking to let him go just yet either. I'm going to wait for Charpentier or one of my other goalkeepers to get up to at least a decent level before we consider moving him on. Final game in the group of the European International Cup. If I win the game, then I think I'm in. If I draw, I might still be through. But if we lose, it's surely over for us and we've lost. Oh, can you believe it? Can you believe it? I think for sure that means we're out. I think the only way that we stay in... No, I think we're done. No, I think that's it. We're out. We're knocked out of the group stage. Wow. Okay, shame. Would have been nice to have picked up a couple of extra mil, but that's all we're going to get. Just the 2.3. And yeah, it's a disappointment. Whatever, we can just get straight back on the grind of training up players, hopefully boosting up their overall, and then, of course, bring in some other signings as well. I'm still waiting to hear back from my Global Transfer Network scouts to see if they found any star centre-backs for me, maybe to look at. Damn, we just had an offer come in for Ruben Neves, and look at this. We could potentially, they've come at us with a very modest offer. It's only basically what his value is, just a couple of mil over, but apparently we could sell him for 88 million. I don't know if I want to let Ruben Neves go when he's only 22 and that overall. He's got so much further to go, but 88 mil, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna entertain their offer. I'm gonna reject it, but 88 mil, damn, if I don't know, if things change in the future, I might consider it, but I still like Ruben Neves. I don't think he was my best centre midfielder last night, or in the last season. I still think it was Matinho, but still. We are coming very close to the 1st of August. When we get there, I'm going to send my youth scouts away again, and I'm still thinking about what countries I'm going to send them to. We have Fiorentina coming in for Helder Costa, a guy that I barely gave games to last season, so I think it's time we probably moved him on as well. They've offered quite a fair bit less than what he's actually worth, so I tell you what, I'll delegate this one. We'll start it maybe at 16, I don't even care, 15.5, and don't sell him for any less than 12. That's what I reckon we'll go with. I reckon Charpentier should be getting pretty close to a 65 now. He is. He gets the A rating, you beauty, and a lot of other players making good progress right now. Oh my goodness, and look at this. Our brand new player, our brand new signing, Leandro Paredes, has torn a quadricep muscle, out for 2 months. So that is basically him, gone for the first, 5 or 6 games of competitive football for the year. That's terrific. Getafe are now coming in for him as well. So once again, I'm going to delegate, try to get as much for him as possible, but I am moving him on still. Ooh, my assistant manager's done bits here. I counter offered for 15.5, or it said start off with 15.5, and boom, they've gone for it. You know what? I'm happy with that. I feel like that's a deal that's going to work out for both clubs pretty well. That's one of those transfers where everyone's hopefully going to get a good result out of it. So Helder Costa, he may be on his way to Fiorentina so long as it actually goes through. We have now reached the 1st of August, so I'm going to, because I like to do it on the 1st of the month, send away my youth scouts to hopefully find some new top tier talent. These are my 3 scouts. I'm going to keep them around because they're still pretty decent and they were pulling out some nice players for me. So instead of sending them away to, I think it was England, France and Portugal, obviously, for the meme, because of course it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, but this time I think I'm going to scout a little more locally. Neil McGuinness, last time I sent him to England, this time I'm going to send him to his home nation. We'll send him to the Republic of Ireland for 9 months, see if he can find me someone. Artamonov, that's right. I'm going to send him away to, of course, because we're an English club, we have to search for English talent, so I'm getting a Russian to scout in England. We'll see how that goes. And Alberto Conte, I'm also probably going to send him away to, I'm thinking like, would it be Wales or Scotland? Well, we can't send him away to Wales, so I guess that's answered my question then. We'll send him to Scotland. But there you go then, everybody. Helder Costa has also been sold. We're only a few days away from the first game in the Premier League against Leicester City. That's what's going to be our first game. I'm also still waiting to see who we've picked up in the Champions League, if the group draw is going to happen anytime soon. But no, not just yet. Transfer offer for Fernando. I'm not looking to sell him. Shaw's been sold, one of my younger youth academy and lower rated youth academy players. Costa's been sold as well. Loan offer rejected as well. But we're really moving on a lot of players that I want moved on as well, whether it be transfer or a loan. I think these will be the last drills that we do, and it's already got Charpentier up from 64 to 66 in the space of about a month or so. And with the first game of the season actually coming up against Leicester City, I've taken a look at my global transfer network to see who they found for me, and I've got a list of a couple of nice rated centre-backs that maybe I could go for. The first one I'm thinking of is Kurt Zouma. I'm going to have to still scout a few of these players, but that's okay. I'm going to scout Kurt Zouma. Jamal Lascelles, I reckon, is another player I'm definitely going to look at as well. You can also see like their value as well, or at least for some of them anyway. With Jamal Lascelles, he's worth 18 million. So even though I can't see his actual stats, I still get the feeling that he will be a decent overall, around about 80 or so. Phil Jones has gone to Juventus in one of the more ridiculous, that's like up there with, or maybe even surpassing like Choupo-Moting to PSG crazy transfers, but still. Upamecano is another one that I've picked this man up in previous career modes before. Look at that. He's going to have nearly 90 sprint speed as a centre-back. I mean, rest in peace any defence that tries to get in behind. You know, bloody hell. I'm actually going to go for him too. He's an exciting prospect. We'll scout him as well. Mateus Delight looks like he's just gone to Sevilla, so I won't be able to get him either, which is a shame. We know how high a potential centre-back he is as well. A few others too. Izzo, Juan Jesus, Nicolas Stark, Dragovic. Jesus Vallejo, who looks like, I don't know, he's gone to Marseille. I know he's very high potential, the centre-back that was formerly at Real Madrid. And Nordi Mukile, who we already know plenty about. 78 overall, 21 years of age. And I'm still looking at I'm still thinking about going for him too. But at the moment, the biggest transfer that's happened so far is Kovacic going to Manchester United. Alex Telles is going to Bayern. Rakitic to Juve. Juve picked up a few players. Barcelona are really losing quite a fair few as well. Jordi Alba's gone. Ziyech to Everton for over 50 million. Wow. Sagankov going to RB Leipzig. Strootman's off. Rudiger is off. So, geez, yes. Chelsea's losing a few players as well. Some interesting transfers for sure, like Robertson to Napoli. Bit of a crazy one that too. Paulinho to Bayern. There's a fair bit of activity. And as of yet, so far, we haven't really spent any of our own money on any players. We've just been loaning away and transferring away some of the players that we aren't really going to use much this season. And I tell you what though, whenever we do start buying players, we are stacked full of it. We've got let's see, all the way to 100. We've got just under 200 million worth to spend in this transfer window. We are going to start dropping it all, hopefully relatively soon. And by all, I mean maybe not all, but at least a decent amount. And we'll definitely be looking at that new centre-back, hopefully, as our big main signing. But the team, even though we haven't really made any signings so far in this transfer window, I still feel like we are set to take on the Premier League. It's just a bloody shame about that injury that Paredes had to get on international duty, because gosh, he looks like an absolute star player. I love his short passing and his long pass, like just how well-rounded he is, and the passing stats that he has for the centre midfielder. So good. You saw the amount of assists that we got last season if you were watching throughout the entirety of it. The amount of assists that both Ruben Neves and Moutinho got. So those centre midfielders have to be able to move the ball on quickly, and they will get in on the action and create so many chances for us, as this formation really has been doing for me. But that is probably going to do it for this episode, guys. We will be making our start to the Premier League season in the next episode against Leicester. Hopefully, we'll get off to a winning start and get our, I don't know, we just did so well last season to finish in the top four, insanely well, when all I wanted to do was try to squeeze into that 7th spot and just get European qualifying or something like that. It just went way too well. I've got high expectations to live up to. Until that first game in the Premier League season, and of course in that same episode, we'll be making some big transfers, hopefully at centre-back, maybe some other players that we'll be bringing in as well. And then of course, we can't forget, we'll more than likely be getting our group stage in the Champions League sorted out as well. So I can't wait to see who we're going to get in that competition. Until then though, guys, my name is the MasterBucks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good one.